When the Trump administration froze federal funding this week, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont warned the order is a dangerous move towards authoritarianism, writing, "If President Trump wants to change our nation's laws, he has the right to ask Congress to change them. He does not have the right to violate the United States Constitution. He is not a king." Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont, joins me now. Senator, it's striking to me that members of your august body, who say whatever you want about them, generally like their own power, would willingly move to confirm a man in Russell Vought, who's before the Budget Committee, to head OMB when it is the position of that individual that the president has every right to completely bypass the Senate and the Budget Committee on matters of spending. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think everything being equal, Vought is going to win. I suspect virtually all Democrats will vote against him. I think all Republicans will vote for him. What Raphael Warnock was just talking about a moment ago about the devastating cuts to programs that working families, low-income people need is absolutely correct. And I'm glad that we fought back and, for the moment at least, we have managed to get that freeze rescinded. But the key point here is that what Trump did is illegal and unconstitutional. The power of the purse rests with Congress, your point, and not with the executive. The founding fathers were pretty smart about that. They divided up the power. But I'll tell you something, when you talk about authoritarianism, Chris, it is not only Vought and the power of the OMB and what Trump is doing, it is also, I'm sure you have noticed, his lawsuits against the media when they do things that he's not happy with. So you got a suit against ABC. You got a suit against the Des Moines Register. You got Meta apparently gave him $25 million today. So what goes on? If you say something tomorrow that Trump doesn't like, maybe he will sue NBC. And maybe your bosses will say, hey, Chris, you got to calm it down a little bit. We can't afford $50 million to Trump. So this is a real movement toward authoritarianism. And when you add on top of that the movement toward oligarchy, three richest guys in America standing beside Trump at its inauguration, we got a lot of problems facing our country right now.
I just want to note, since you brought it up, one thing that has been amazing to me is all of the encouragement we've gotten from the folks here that run this news organization, that we're going to do what we do under the First Amendment, fairly and precisely, with neither fear or favor. And I'm confident in that. I really am. And I think your point about the suing is wild. I want to actually stay on that for one moment. I don't think we've ever seen president as plaintiff before. It's a very bizarre situation that I don't think everyone's gotten their head around. Right. There's a bunch of Supreme Court precedent about whether the president can be sued. But the idea of the president doing the suing and other people paying him settlements, that seems kind of odd.
Oh, it's not odd. It is extraordinarily dangerous. That is, if that's not undermining the First Amendment, I don't know what is.
Right.
So if you think that, people in media are not going to be looking over their shoulders, worrying about a lawsuit from Donald Trump, you are mistaken. So we are in a dangerous situation. We are in an unprecedented situation. But here's what I want to say to listeners who are justifiably very worried. Do not forget that while Republicans control the House and the Senate, their margins are slim. All right, they don't have 60 votes in the Senate. They got, a 4-vote majority in the House. That ain't a lot of votes. And a number of Republicans won by a small margin in Democratic districts. They are susceptible to citizen outrage. So get on the phone. If you see these guys doing something like wanting to give huge tax breaks to billionaires while they cut Medicare, if they want to go drill, baby, drill while we have been facing an existential threat of climate change, if they want to deport 20 million people in this country, stand up, fight back. We can beat them. So let's not act in a hopeless way. Oh, my God, we can't do anything. We can. Longer term, obviously, we need to do what the Democratic Party has not done, has become the party of the working class, develop a strong grassroots movement. with labor unions, with young people, with people of color, and organize and fight back. The progressive agenda, and I say this over and over again, is the people's agenda. It is wildly popular. People understand the current healthcare system is broken. They want universal healthcare. Healthcare is a human right. They want to raise the starvation minimum wage
can I ask you about healthcare?
To a living wage. Yeah.
I mean, you've got, and it connects to your first point, which is that it's not like all this is a fait accompli. Robert Kennedy Jr., who you interviewed and you asked him about those onesies, which was an instantly iconic moment. I'm not going to play it now because I want to get your answer here. I don't think it's a sure thing that he's going to be confirmed. And I thought the concerns from some Republicans were quite persuasive, including Senator Cassidy, who used to be a doctor. What do you think?
Well, I sit next to Senator Cassidy. He was the ranking member, and I was the chair. Now I'm the ranking member. He's the chair. He is a doctor, and he's nobody's fool. He is concerned about Kennedy's absurd attacks and lies about vaccines and autism, and we will see what happens. What we should appreciate is there'll be an enormous amount of pressure on Cassidy, on other Republicans, but his line of questioning was, I think, very commendable. Yeah,
Senator Bernie Sanders, who asked Kennedy if he could just say whether vaccines and autism were linked, wouldn't answer his question. Thank you so much, Senator. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.